I have made videos about this before. I've made two. I'll put both in the description, as well as a post which is initiating this video on Tumblr. I just saw with a nice a bunch of stupid pictures, and then a nice long ass rant about how stupid all these anti-vaccination people are. But one thing I don't understand is why. Well, I mentioned the whole thing, like, why is being autistic so bad? Not that it fucking causes it. And second of all, but that was based off of an article that was posted or released or whatever, 1998. So why is it all the outcry against vaccination has only been happening in the last 5 years? More than 10 years since that bogus article was released. And and there's all this bullshit because people don't understand how science works. Could it be just the general paranoia at everything, despite the fact that vaccines been around a really long time and have only done good? Well, okay, there's occasional people who have had issues, but it's so low. It's lower than any other kind of medical treatment to have issues. And every single year they release new vaccines and they fix any problems with the previous one. So if there was an issue with a vaccine 10 years, I've had, for the HPV vaccination, I've heard people saying they don't want to get that one because it kills people. When it was first released, when one of the HPV vaccines was first released, yes, it killed some people. They took that off the market as soon as people started dying. Then they've changed it every year since and improved upon it. And no one else has died. So you're not getting that same vaccine that killed somebody. You're getting one that's essentially almost completely bug-free now. And I remember hearing this so stupid argument. I was picking up a friend from work, and one of her coworkers was talking about how her arm hurt because she had gotten her HPV vaccination, and she was freaking out because it was like 2 days later, because with serious vaccinations like that sometimes, and depending on your different sensitivity levels, the pain can last longer. But seriously, a painful shoulder is worth not getting an illness. Anyways, so she was talking about how, one of our coworkers, she was feeling really unsure and kind of nervous about it because all day she'd been complaining about the sore arm. Well, she hadn't been complaining, she just kind of and anyway, so one of her coworkers had got into the conversation of the HPV vaccination, and she was saying all this shit about it, and she's like, one of the lines I found so stupid was, it's like, well, I never got my HPV vaccination and I'm fine. And this girl I'm talking about that was all nervous and everything else, she was I think 15 or 16, she was 16, sorry. So she's young and she doesn't really, and she was kind of sheltered and everything else, so she didn't really know all the stuff, and I was using her mind saying, yeah, different vaccines, different people's tolerance to different whatever, but they usually don't last more than a week with the pain and whatnot, and it's so stupid because HPV is, for the most part, a sexually transmitted disease. And yes, you haven't had any issues with it, but what about when you come in contact with it? You just haven't come in contact with that. It's like saying, oh, I don't need to wash my hands. I mean, I haven't gotten sick yet, so why do I have to wash my hands? And then you get sick for not washing your hands because you come in contact with it or something. Or I don't understand stupid people. But one of the arguments that I find so stupid, and I recently found out that my aunt, who I thought was fairly logical, and my family's really right, my mom's side of the family is super right-wing, and she's part of that side of the family, so usually this stuff is usually the right-wingers don't have an issue with vaccines. It tends to be the far left-wings, the stupid people in the far left-wings, because there's stupid people everywhere, but that are against the vaccines. But I found out that my aunt was against vaccines, and I thought, it could be for autism. I mean, she fosters children. Some of them have had learning disabilities, and she doesn't treat them any differently. And so my mom's like, no, it's not that. I was like, well, what's the reason? She's like, well, because it's not natural. That is the stupid, I've heard that before too, that is the stupidest argument against vaccines. Because my aunt wears glasses. Those aren't natural. My aunt is on medications, and as is her husband because he has a heart condition. That's not natural. Their dog recently got run over. well, part of his, mostly his tail, so he lost his tail, but anyway, or she lost his tail, you get what I'm saying. Anyways, and so the dog had to go in for surgery. Surgery's not natural. So, why are you, like, nothing is natural. Now I know that she gets a lot of her health food and she does a lot more natural stuff, like she lives out in the country, so she, with her neighbors, she gets her eggs and her, milk and stuff like that. Each of her neighbors, produces something, like one of her neighbors has a bunch of chickens, so they get their eggs from there. Another one, has some cows, so they get their milk from there, and my aunt and uncle have a sugar shack, so they, they trade, stuff like that. Anyway, so she's pretty natural and whatever, and since we do live in Ontario, she's able to do stuff like that. So, and also, like, she's always going to health food stores and whatnot, but still, a lot of our food, not natural. Heating and air conditioning, not natural. Cars, not natural. Nothing in our world is natural anymore, and you're getting mad because something that can save lives and prevent horrible things happening to people isn't natural. But actually, compared to everything else, vaccines are very natural, as you'll see in that post, because they literally just help the immune system do something more effectively that it already naturally does. The immune system, when exposed to a bug, learns about it and learns how to defeat it, and then knows how to, if it comes in contact with it, knows how to kill it right away. Now, if you came in contact with the illness, unprotected by a vaccine, the body couldn't learn in time to fight it effectively. But if they get the vaccine, where they get a dormant version of the virus, which means it's not going to actually pose any threat, but teaches the body about it, now your immune system knows. That's how vaccines work. Which is, in that stupid shit, I see something that's like, oh, in the last 5 years. No, because once your body knows how to fight something, it knows how to fight that thing. If it doesn't, if the efficacy decreases over time, that's because the illness has changed, not your body's ability to fight it. Because every single time a disease goes from one human being to another, it evolves. It changes to try and become more effective at destroying the body. So if you are managing to prevent the spread of an illness, you are decreasing the efficacy of the illness to harm people. And there are people who cannot get vaccines or have shot immune systems, such as cancer patients who, the chemotherapy can really fuck up your immune system while you're going through it. So these cancer patients have no protection, they've been fighting cancer, and then they could possibly die because you decided not to give your kid the flu shot or measles shot or whatever else. It's not their fault. They probably could be pro-vaccine, but they can't do anything about it, and it's really pissing me off, and I don't understand these selfish assholes. I'm getting really angry, so I'm going to stop the video here. Thank you for listening.